The person who bears the highest responsibility for the killing of Albert Ojwang is DIG Lagat. That must be said. That is his track record. That is his history. That will remain a permanent mark on his face. The system is attempting to protect him, to give him cover by charging his minions. But he was part of the criminal enterprise that conceived by lodging a complaint and that was able to superintend over a system that sought to tamper with evidence, destroyed the CCTV footages, was able to attempted to lie to the public as the state of Albert Ojwang when he arrived at Rigathi, claiming, trying to tell a public narrative that he hit his head on the wall. He was there.
Okay.
But it is him. He's the one who should be called to account. I believe Boniface Kariuki, murderers, will not be in the dock. It just happened that there were cameras and Kenyans were able to record. And the same Kenyans are the ones who are able to even smoke out who that officer is. It took the system more than 12 hours, in fact 2 days, to publicly share the details of that officer. Way after Kenyans had been able to smoke him out. They had thought that by covering his face, the system was going to hide him. But I have a message to police officers who are allowing themselves to be abused. This system is brutal to you, and the Kenyan people will get their justice from you. How many more are you going to kill? We are not discussing civilians killing fellow civilians. We are discussing officers using their guns to kill civilians. And you think that is in order? That is how policing should be done? No, it cannot be in order. It is inevitable. The day of reckoning is here. And your time is up. You'll be called to account. The body counts and the piling names are just but evidence that will be used for your prosecution and hanging. Causing death in Kenya, which is murder, has only one penalty. Hang until they die by the neck.
Very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evans Okinyi, and remember, we are still tracking everything that is taking place in this country. We are more than glad to bring you up to date and make you understand them better. This fine evening, I'm joined here by my resident guest, Wakili Willie Sotieno. Wakili, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Yes.
I want us to get into this conversation here. Of course, we are still following up on Albert Ojwang's case. And of course, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has decided to go ahead and charge, of course, 4 individuals, including Talam, who is the officer commanding station for Central Police Station, the other Constable Mukwana, alongside 2 others. But when something that is funny here is that one of the people whom the Kenyans were expected to be charged was DIG Lagat. We've not seen his name mentioned there. What do you make of this particular decision?
This is part of a cover-up. The person who bears the highest responsibility for the killing of Albert Ojwang is DIG Lagat. That must be said. That is his track record. That is his history. That will remain a permanent mark on his face. The system is attempting to protect him, to give him cover by charging his minions. But he was part of the criminal enterprise that conceived by lodging a complaint and that was able to superintend over a system that sought to tamper with evidence, destroyed the CCTV footages, was able to attempted to lie to the public as the state of Albert Ojwang when he arrived at Rigathi, claiming, trying to tell a public narrative that he hit his head on the wall. He was there.
Okay.
But it is him. He's the one who should be called to account. You cannot tell me that you're a DIG and you are a complainant in a case, and you have no interest in how your suspect is being handled by your juniors. He was interested, and he must explain. He must be put to the dock to explain.
Okay.
And if found guilty, he should be convicted and sentenced to death by hanging until he dies, as required in section 204 of the Penal Code.
Talk to us about the discrete nature in which his summoning by hyper was actually handled.
That is part of what I call the cover-up. The same system managed to release to the public the statement by Mukwana. How come the same system cannot release to us the statement that was written by DIG Lagat, if at all he wrote a statement? Maybe he just went in there and took tea. Where is his statement? Where is the analysis of his statement? What is it that exonerates him? So this whole system, IPOA, I'm sorry, we're not interested in getting justice for Albert Ojwang. It was meant to just give cover. So even his summoning to IPOA was part of addressing public anger and demand for accountability. Otherwise, what is hard in releasing his statement and making it public? But you must understand which kind of a system you're dealing with. Look at Boniface Kariuki, for example.
Yes, yes.
Shot in the head. And if the Kenyan people were not in a position to record the shooting as they did, I believe Boniface Kariuki, murderers, will not be in the dock. It just happened that there were cameras and Kenyans were able to record. And the same Kenyans are the ones who are able to even smoke out who that officer is. It took the system more than 12 hours, in fact 2 days, to publicly share the details of that officer. Way after Kenyans had been able to smoke him out. They had thought that by covering his face, the system was going to hide him. But I have a message to police officers who are allowing themselves to be abused. This system is brutal to you, and the Kenyan people will get their justice from you. How many more are you going to kill? We are not discussing civilians killing fellow civilians. We are discussing officers using their guns to kill civilians. And you think that is in order? That is how policing should be done? No, it cannot be in order. It is inevitable. The day of reckoning is here. And your time is up. You'll be called to account. The body counts and the piling names are just but evidence that will be used for your prosecution and hanging. Causing death in Kenya, which is murder, has only one penalty. Hang until they die by the neck.
But they're talking of Boniface Kariuki's case now. Now, what happens to the entire case now that he's actually lost his life?
The case is now murder. Those police officers are going to be charged for the offense of murder. And they are going to be convicted. And they are going to be sentenced to death. And the sentence to death in Kenya is executed by hanging in the neck until they die. That is now their fate. That's their destiny.
Okay.
I keep saying and I keep reminding our viewers, we are in the state where people are collecting their destinies. And those who are committing atrocities against the people of Kenya, whatever you do, just know that you're just collecting your destiny. You must be ready to live with your consequences. And if those consequences are going to lead to your own death, so be it, it shall come. You cannot massacre civilians and think that things will be the same again. Things will never be the same again. From last year, I told you, Mene Mene Tekel, the writing was on the wall. Things will never be the same again.
Okay.
And the more they kill, the more they make their exit inevitable and nearer. Where Kenyans are now, when I went to the streets, people are not talking about one term. People are talking about half term. Si lazima malize. That is where Kenyans are. Why? Because of the atrocities that are being committed against them. They are saying now it's half term, not one term. And the legacy politicians and their police protectors have not yet internalized and understood what is going on here. You cannot silence a people by killing them. You can only silence a people by leading and governing in accordance with the basic commitment document, the Constitution and the laws of the Republic. Anything else, anything short of that, is a waste of time.
In Albert Ojwang's case now, taking back there, now that the DIG Eliud Lagat is seemingly exonerated from this particular case, now that the ODPP has not approved any charges against him, I wonder on what grounds. Maybe for them there no evidence enough to prove that he was involved in this. Then there are a section of Kenyans who actually believe that he should be charged, and they say that for justice to be done and to be seen to be done, then he has to be at the center of it all. What's their option? What are the options right now that they do have in order to make sure that he's also answerable for
the wheels of justice grind slowly, but when they turn around, they grind very softly. Eliud Lagat may think he has escaped. I'm sorry, he only has the watch, but not the time. The wheels of justice will turn, and his day on the dock shall come, and he will answer to these atrocities. There is no escape for him. All he's doing is just attempting to postpone his fate. But that fate is written. He must stand on that dock. He must be called to account. He must give his side of the story from the dock, not in a press conference. And he must answer. If he was involved in the killing of Albert Ojwang, then he must be held to account. And he must face the consequences. The police system and the legacy politicians may protect him today. But even them, their days are numbered. People are now, we're in a phase where people are accumulating and collecting their fates, as I've told you. He collected his already. More and more are collecting theirs. This year, will collect his. You saw what they've done to Ndiangui. All of a sudden, you're now telling us that you went to his house and you didn't find him, and you broke into the house and conducted a search and took an inventory. Where was the search warrant? If the owner was not there, why were you breaking into the house if he's not there? Why didn't you get a search warrant from the courts? The courts are here working 24 hours. Why? It tells the criminal mind from the beginning. And that's the same police system that is keeping Ndiangui. We must say it what it is. There are reports that Ndiangui was taken by Nasubaru, who drives around in Subaru vehicles abducting Kenyans. It's the same DCI officers, the same ones that went to pick Ojwang. If it quacks like a duck, waddles like a duck, then it's a duck. The people who have been doing abductions of our people are the police, mostly from DCI.
Okay.
So why are they trying to escape now? When the characteristics of what happened to Ndiangui has all the hallmarks of a police operation as they have been doing it. They must bring back that body or that man. They must account for him. They cannot run away.
So we are looking at a situation whereby we are not even done with the Albert's case, but then several people are losing their lives, and the police Mwananchi conflict is still going on, and we are wondering now, where does sobriety now comes in? Where is the voice of reason? What is it that is going to make sure that we get to a country of order, a country that we've been on?
Elections. Si lazima malize. This thing will not end until Kenyans give back their sovereignty to a democratically elected leader.
Wakili, but this is the same stories that we were told back then in the 2022 elections when former President Uhuru Kenyatta was in office.
Yes, there is what we call eternal vigilance. People will never stop, but because you voted for someone, that now you've surrendered your sovereignty. No. If the person who is voted in decides to govern in disregard to your constitution, then you have a duty to recall that donated power. And that's what is going on. Donation, it does not mean surrender. So not surrender. So donated power to be exercised for the benefit of the people. So all this will end when we have an elections. And even if that new regime decides to go contrary to the social contract, they'll face a similar fate as this one. There is no bar. And there is no need to wait.
Okay.
It is all in exercise of the sovereign power of the people as captured in Article 1 of our Constitution. It's well in order. And William Ruto asked Kenyans who are telling him to go, the way to go. The way to go is to resign.
Okay.
Save the country this ignominy. Resign. Let the people choose their next leader. You can resign with Kindiki.
Okay, so that is how you want him to go.
But that is in the Constitution. We are a country of the rule of law. The Constitution has provisions for resignations. When were the times when it was expected that that clause will be used? Times like this.
Okay.
When you've shown your incompetence or your incapacity to lead, or when the people demand of you to leave. These are the times for which that provision was put.
Okay.
So yes, there's a way to go. Resign.
And he says, what next after he's gone?
People will conduct an election. It's not about him, and that should not even worry him. Once he goes, the people, the sovereign, will decide how to elect a new leader, and they have provisions in their constitution on how to walk through that transition. And that next leader must serve in accordance with our constitution. If he doesn't, similar fate. Legacy politicians should not make Kenyans think that they're the Alpha and the Omega. No one died for them to become the Holy Spirit. That they cannot be questioned. We will question them and we'll hold them account.
Well, and good ladies and gentlemen, that is it from the Candid Talk here. I've been having this wonderful conversation with our Kili Willis Otieno, though a little bit emotional because of the nature of things that are taking place in this country. But of course, we are here to make you understand the implications of all these things, because we will also bring you up to date with all that is taking place in our beautiful country, Kenya, and across the borders. Allow me to stop for now. You can weigh in and tell us what you actually think. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.